Megaha, how are you? How is R feeling after I told him about our day's conversation? Will he support me? I think he was feeling that you were probably taking this too much to heart. Like, that you're overreacting. But the tower in reverse means that you can rebuild something that has kind of broken. So I would honestly say this person would ours behind you. However, they feel like it's not needed. That everything's fine, you know, everything's okay. I don't know why it's cold. I'm gonna grab a coat. But yeah, with the tower, you're going to rebuild something that you've lost, you know. Hey, Zeba, how are you today? Cause I went to get a coat. I was a little bit cold. It's cold today, so you know. And then proceeded to put my hoodie on backwards. So it's like, why am I in the dark? Uh, yeah. Will your relationship get better? I think in some ways, no. But I think it's just because you guys have to go through quite a lot. So I honestly, it feels at the moment you guys probably need to do a lot by yourselves. And then work on this relationship, you know. Hello, uh, Svetlana, how are you? So at the moment, I would say no, but it's because other forces on the outside are very hard. What are these feelings towards me? How are all the members today? Hope you guys are going very well. It is my birthday this week. The end of the week is my birthday. Not to a particular, you know. So this is interesting because honestly, I feel like this person's kind of very much a distance between you and them. Like, I think what really attracts you to them is this feeling of like space between you, and that they're really not. They're kind of going on this journey that's really taking them away from a lot of things that are like normal. I guess that's what I would say. For me, I would not say that this person's energy is very directed to you. I think they think about you, but there's a lot of like non-tie-in. It might be that they feel like more friends than, a couple. But that's what I would say to you is like, maybe if you guys are a couple, maybe there needs to be some work done on attraction, bringing that person back in for you. Hello, NJ, how are you? Seba says, should I explore my connection with DJ further? The cards say no. Page of Pentacles in reverse. This person knows your feelings and they're kind of rejecting your feelings. You're biting off more than you can chew with this relationship. And technically, like, the cards say you might be struggling to find someone else, but like, it might be a good time to kind of struggle in a way further away from him, like trying to figure out if there's more people that would, it's weird because I feel like the cards are saying no. Page, like, this is usually distance. Now you're saying very interested. Maybe he doesn't care what you feel. That's what I would feel from that card. I feel like the cards are moving you away from him, though. That's what I would say, not towards him. How am I? I'm good, good. I'm feeling a little bit tired today, but okay. That makes sense. Um, what would PI love in you? I feel that a lot of times you don't make friends just for making friends. Like, you have to really want to be with people to be friends with someone. So, a lot of times if you were around people and you weren't interested in what they say, you wouldn't just engage for the sake of engaging. That you're kind of calm, very relaxed, so you don't stress too much. And the last thing is that you're very confident and you're very focused on one thing or another. So when you want to be excited about something, you are. I am good, Divine Soul. How are you? Seba says, what are DJ's feelings towards me? As he's head over heels, as he claims. At the moment, his heart is still going through a phase, of healing. So this person's emotional state is based on their healing state. So they're going through a certain amount of negative emotions, even though, like, you could sit there and go, he's head over heels in love with you. It feels like there is, like, sadness or, loneliness driving this. So there's kind of like this feeling that, and you should approach moderation with this person, because I do feel that they kind of, if they feel lonely, you know, um they're kind of attaching to you, you know. So this is the hardest part, is people show, that kind of oh, the camera's frozen again. Give me a second. But yeah, it's like these this person doesn't realize that they're kind of like putting that loneliness on finding someone, and as soon as they feel good, they think that they're in love. And this is why, like, it's so hard for them to discern which one's real, because they never put themselves in that space, you know. Let me try and refresh this camera. There you go. Guys, can we give like a space so I can finish up the questions that you've asked me already? So Svetlana says, what will be the appearance and character of my future partner? Okay, so this person seems to be a little bit more, slow to move. Not not fat. That's not what I would say, but slightly on the plumper side. So I do feel like they enjoy food. They tend to be a little bit of a spender, not so much a saver, but I do think that you guys work very well together. I don't think this person would always know what you're thinking and feeling, even though he's King of Cups. So he does have underwhelming, emotions here. What is his job? I feel management or managerial work. I think he's quite shy, but when he's at work, he tends to be a little bit more confident. I think you guys go very well together. And there seems to be a lot of happiness for both of you, a lot of celebrations. I would say darker skinned, maybe a little bit of red mixed with brown hair. So I don't know, like more copper, you know, but that's an unusual thing to pick up. But yeah. I would say that this person's a little bit more calm, a little bit more thoughtful, a little bit more quieter. That's what I'm getting from. Siba says, why did FA delete his Instagram? Um, he was thinking about a particular person that he wants to be with for the rest of his life and raise kids. And he was thinking that he wanted to be strong for them. So it could be that he was using his Instagram as, like looking at hot women. And so therefore it was causing a lot of fights and lots of arguments. So he's deleted it. Divine says, should I send the message to Owen or should I not? No, you should send the message. I feel like at the moment Owen's a little bit unhappy. The tower is definitely time to rebuild this relationship. 9 of Wands is good news, so I definitely feel like you should send the message. So honestly, I feel like he's sad, like he wants to rebuild something with you. That's what the cards are saying for you. Thank you guys for giving me a space to answer everybody's question, so I'm not feeling overwhelmed. Sipa says, am I just a rebound for DJ then? No, I don't think so. With the strength and the sun card, it could be just that you've got some very positive energy and he's like, this might be a really great solid relationship. There's been a lot of stuff that has just, um like he hasn't chosen good partners in the past, and now he's met you. He's like, oh well, this could actually be a very healthy relationship. So with the cards being in moderation, is like, give him time to, cool off and then see who he is, Mega says, what is my family thinking or after knowing about Yeah, like honestly, with the 4 of Wands here, they have agreed. I think that it'll be more present than future, and I definitely think that they can see that R really looks after you, or So I would honestly say to you, you'll probably get this answer sooner than you expected. I think in May, just because that's getting highlighted is going to be when very much from your family that that's the case. So you're very welcome. And Jay says, thinking of moving cities near southwest of London. Me, mom and dad, would it be a good decision to relocate or should we stay in the house we're already at? I think that you guys are ready for a move. Because that's the interesting thing that I would definitely feel is that you guys are time to move. I feel like there's a lot of talking and not enough doing. So it could be just that at the moment things are not making you happy. And yes, Mega Heart, yes. If the card pretty much force ones, which is a marriage card, it can be seen as a marriage card or a card of celebrations is there, then I definitely feel like they're going to agree. One thing that I would say, NJ, is kind of like write down what you want. Like what kind of place would get all the boxes ticked, because there's a lot of southwest of London, you know. That's all right. So I would honestly say write down what kind of things that you want, and then kind of find a house or something close to that. So Hannah says, am I going to travel to N this year? The cards are saying yes. It would be quicker if you brought someone along with you. So kind of keep an eye open, or, you know, listen to people. And if they're like, oh, but I really want to go, you travel with them because it'll be cheaper and it'll be quicker, you know. Siba says, why did MP delete her Instagram as well as long as FA? Ooh. Does MP and FA know each other? That's the question. Because we've got two cards that are pretty much the same. Actually, there's a lot of cards that overlap between this. So if they know each other, they're really, you know, they've had this like talk. I feel like getting what she wants. So I don't think at the moment the Instagram, you know, but if they know each other, yeah, well then that's what the argument was about, was that they both decided to get off Instagram. And it was like I got what I wanted. So it's kind of like, thank you, Arita. Welcome in. Um I'm getting what I want from this. And that was the agreement, that they would both step away from Instagram. So there you go. Like honestly, those cards came up and I was like, that's very similar. You know, honestly, that I would say. So, yay! Welcome in, Arita. No, they're not leaving right now. I think they're going through counseling because this is like too much talking, over talking, biting off more than they can chew. So it's kind of like they're going through therapy. This could be the last step if they don't separate. If they honestly, if they keep on working on it, and I think FA's behind this, a lot of people aren't, you know. Some people were like, we should go to therapy as a couple, and you know it doesn't work, you know. So I think that they're trying to really work through their issues, which honestly, hands down, that takes bravery, you know. How many children will you have? Okay, we'll ask the pendulum. Because this is more simple with the pendulum. Um, it says 4 kids. So, you might have to like get started soon. I'm kidding. Get yourself your lovely partner first, but you know, 4 kids, unless you're having like, I'm gonna ask like, are they like twins, or you know, no, apparently no twins, so it's going to be 4 kids. uh, better do that soon, cough, cough. My partner and I are trying for kids. And I was like, well, what if we have like more than, two? And he's like, I don't think I could deal with that. And I was like, oh, okay. um, how, it's Arita, as many as you want to place down. The only etiquette here is like to put down the number of questions that you're asking. So therefore I can see like someone that's like on 7 and someone that's on 2, because then I can just be like, okay, you've asked 7 questions. Go get a cup of tea. Come back when everybody else has like answered their questions, because sometimes that's a big thing, is like if someone's on question 12 and like everybody else is on question 4, you might be like, okay. Divine Soul says, what are Owen's next actions for me? Did he take any reading on me? What did the reader say? There was no reader. He hasn't gone to a reader in at least a week or so. Ace of Swords. Like, this person feels the sky is falling down around them. Even though they're strong right now, mentally, not mentally, but that bit that they're having the dark night of the soul, everything doesn't seem to be like going together, you know. But they feel angry. They feel like kind of like guilt that like how they've treated you, like Owen's. So honestly, they feel like you're angry with them, and so therefore they're not feeling like contacting you just in case, like, you know, you're going to be angry with them, you know. Megha says, will it be worth taking my stand against my family for my message with R? At the moment, just relax. It seems like at the moment you should take time to plan this. Because I think that by the time that you want to take a stand, I think that just accept this. Um, I do feel like it's your family healing from some things that have happened in the past. So it's technically not ours fault for like how your family says no. It's more like, oh, well, maybe like when they think culturally, like your family suffered with like people that are ethnically like are, and stuff like that, like things that need to be healed for your family. So I think that they're going through this and accepting some things that are not are, ours different, and you might be trying to persuade them that, but I think honestly you need to just plan a lot more. And by the time that you get through all that planning, I think that they've come around to really accepting your choice. But I think that it would be a good future for you guys. Honestly, it's going to take a little bit of like trouble, like shooting and like working together to make it work. Um, but I think that you can both do it, and it's just going to be a little bit harder than like if you were marrying into your culture, so to speak. Like like a lot of things culturally, and that would kind of cement you together, or your family would be cemented by that. This is going to be a little bit harder, and that's just something that you'll have to deal with. And I think that you both be good together. I don't think that by this cards I don't see anything bad. A good sized business for me to do what YouTube business would bring me is success. Something outside. So this could be gardening, this could be pet sitting. So honestly, that would be a good thing that you could do. So looking after pets, yeah, pet sitting, or and gardening, or being outdoors, and yeah, like landscaping, gardening, something like that. Dog walking, pet sitting. Both of those are pretty good. You'd enjoy both of them. And Jay, this depends on whether you're masculine or feminine. If you're masculine, it's more like YouTube business. Be Andrew Tate. So be more like, oh yeah, like women, you blow up. If you're feminine, you become this kind of like angry with the world kind of boss babe, someone that's like, oh, I didn't I didn't wake up this morning without like the perfect morning routine, So it depends whether you're masculine or feminine, but yeah, if you're masculine, yeah, it's that Andrew Tate. If you're feminine, it's boss babe. Like, I know what I'm going to get, and like, you know what you want, and you don't care. Like, you gotta get it. So, yeah, that's your YouTube business. Both would work very well, so I'm finding it funny that it's picked those things up for you. Okay, so Arita, how does A feel about me when he sees me? Guys, please put down the question numbers with you guys, just so I know who's where, if you've had over like 7 questions, please go and get a cup of tea. I still love you, but take a break. How does A feel about me when he sees you? This is interesting because this person trusts the universe, Arita, where to be guided. So, I don't think that they have very strong emotions. They just allow things to be. Sometimes he feels, well, this person feels old. So, yeah, he feels slightly, or slower than he normally does. So, it's kind of like thinking about things before he says things. And, with the moon, he doesn't care what other people say about you. So, that's a very strong predictor that this person really likes you, is that they don't care what other people say. This is a big predictor of, like, I want to be with this person, you know. Divine Soul says, will Erwin start talking to me soon, or will he still take more time to open up? Not without you talking to him. I feel like at the moment you guys are at crossroads, and I think that he's thinking about you more, but He's still feeling like you guys are very different and that he's in a different place than you. So it could be just that there's a lack of compatibility. You guys want different things, and that could be a big thing. Siva says, is the dispute between FA and MP about stalking me or hot girls in general? Hot babes in general. Yeah. But he feels like he's vindicated because, you know, MP is also, um, not that I would say they're hot guys. There's a difference between hot guys in Instagram and hot girls on Instagram, but it's still like provoking FA's insecurities. So honestly, that's why so it's kind of like, yeah, she's getting insecure about people that he knows, but a lot of times when she goes and sees his Instagram is full of, women, and that's kind of like sending herself off. So I don't think that you are, in the way that you're not the special thing in here. Obviously they've had arguments about like following people that they know on Instagram, especially, FA, following women that he knows. That's a big thing. But it's not because of you. That question 3 is pretty much the same one. I'll do the Divine Soul. Is he missing me? How long is he going to take to open up? So he is missing you, but I think pretty soon, because this card is just excitement. Like, yes, I've got everything. So, yeah, like he'll open up to you very soon. However, the hardest part is like when it comes to talking to you, he's just like, how am I going to do this? I don't know how to do it. So it's just like, at the moment, his deep sadness, that's a case that I would say to you, is this deep sadness that's coming from him. So he does miss you. Okay, Arita says, is Kay stalking me this month or on social media? Hmm. This person would normally stalk you, but I don't think it's this month. But yeah, normally does, but somehow hasn't been on social media that much. Mecca says, what are our current thoughts and next actions towards me? What do you see him coming for us? So this is interesting because the whole idea is this is a life choice for R, and he's currently choosing this. So it's just like figuring out what he wants to do with a career and, everything. And it feels just like so much on his plate when it's not really, but because it's big moves. Like, does he want to travel abroad, or does he want to like live in another country? That's a big choice. Like, does he bring you with him? There's a lot of commitment with for you. This person, some sometimes I get this sensation that sometimes people are just like, you know, penguins, they mate for life, and I definitely feel like R is your penguin, which is a weird thing to say because a lot of times people like unsure about like relationships, but R is very strong on you. Ace of Wands, there's something that R's wanted that will happen. And that's a good thing because then he can spend a lot more time with you, or, you know, he doesn't have to worry so much. With next month, he's just going to be like normally floating through life and not worrying about things as much. There's kind of like because of how scary this like all this business has to be and everything like that, he's going to be a little bit more forgetful, a little bit less like I don't think he's going to be around as much because he's just got to get things done. And there's just like this feeling of just floating, like aimless floating, because he's got his mind on a lot. So give him space to do this because I do feel like you might get upset or you might get angry. And I just feel like he's really wants to make you happy, make your life a little bit more simple, you know? That's a big thing for him. No flirting. There's no flirting here. Hello, Cosette. You didn't put your question down. Cosette, if you do want to put question, just go to Mystic Cassandra Tarot at gmail.com and just write in your question, and I will do a 3-card reading off stream for you. No, he's getting what he wants. Like something that he wants this month. There's no flirting in these cards. So, no. He's just floating around, not flirting. Floating. There's a little bit of difference between that. So that's one thing that I would definitely feel. Thank you so much, Cosette, for the donation. No, he's just gonna have less of brain. So if you ask him something and he's just like, oh, I forgot, don't get angry with him. It's just that there's a lot of stuff on his brain that's going to be like taking up too much brain space. So, you know, if there's any time to let the poor guy have a break, it's probably about now, okay? I was like, flirting? What card constitutes flirting? I can understand if we've got a couple of different cards in this, but I was like, from these cards, I don't think so. you were just like, oh, go with the flow, just, you know, relaxing, and then next thing you hear flirting, and you're like, what? He's mine! How dare he? Boom! um, like, my partner has said that his ex, would dream like he was cheating on her, so she would wake up and take it out on him. And I was like, oh man, that's not fair. don't want you to go back and go, you're flirting on someone with me, buff. It'd be like, oh my god, what happened? You're mine. Storms off. Devisal. Sorry. I have that whole story in my head now. Does he see a future with me or not? Honestly, with the magician, there is kind of like capturing like a joy here. So honestly, he can see it in his imagination that he would want to be with you. But there's also with Four of Cups, he doesn't see the options in front of him and he's biting off more than he can chew. So this is kind of hard because I'm afraid, like, when we do a lot of readings on Owen, it always feels like he is very past driven. So he doesn't want to have the same thing with his ex um that would be in this relationship. And this is hard because he's not seen you with a new perspective. There's kind of like, oh, but I love this person. They kind of, and this needs to be probably a little bit more therapy. Um, whether you can't make someone go to therapy, so they need to do it themselves. If they, like, Owen realizes that there's so much of the past that he's just holding on to, keep himself safe. I think that's the biggest thing, is like, if it doesn't work out for him, it's just like, I've got to keep myself safe. I've got to make sure that this thing doesn't happen to me again. And that's a really weird thing because we've seen him a lot as King of Swords, which doesn't make sense because that's a very purely emotional reaction. And it could be just that he's gone from childhood being this loving, caring little boy, and his parents or caregivers have just taken that out on him until he's like switched and become swords, because swords are very non-emotional. They tend to just say things as they are because there seems to be a less emotional detachment. And it could just have been that they were like, oh, well, you know, he is so precious. He's going to get bullied. He's going to cry. We're going to toughen him up, which is never a good way in kids. But that could possibly be some of the fear that stems from it, is like, it can't I can't be vulnerable again. It hurts. So, yeah, of course, Siba. Um, Arita says, is A going to start in May or June talking with me? Okay. No. So it's going to be May. It's going to be May. June, I think that you're already established or going to be committed by June. So there's kind of like this bit that you guys are going to be, like, Arita, he's going to ask you out in May, and then June, like, you guys are really going to be a couple instead of just like talking stuff. So do you see any future between me and Owen? I mean, family, marriage, etc. Page of Swords, King of Cups. It depends whether he wants to be honest or not about um his feelings, you know. Um at the moment, as we said, like definitely this, like, he has a weird way of switching, and it feels like he masks around a lot of people. I know masking usually means autism, or but everyone has a mask that they put on around people they just don't know. And so therefore he tends to change very quickly. But in honesty, this is like, he's got to really come to grips with that. He's scared. He's he needs to get into his emotional center. He needs to be vulnerable, because at the moment he's kind of doubting that. And not that I feel like he's not deceiving you. He's deceiving himself. Um and so therefore, if there was like, this has to be done on his own terms, and it could be just that you decide that you're not willing to wait that long, you know. So do realize that that's the case, but I do feel like he's going to understand a lot more about his emotions this year, and he's going to be breaking down a lot of his armor because it's not working, you know. So it's going to become like, Arisa says, "What is Kay thinking about me?" Well, you're definitely one of the options that he's got his eye out on. And he's just going with the flow. So it's just like, I'll see how it goes. Like, you're very attractive, or, you know, he's drawn to you. But there's also other options that he could take. It's just like thinking about whether or not he's going to, he's gonna see how it goes. But May is definitely reaching out. Um, so I would say that's the case. And Jay says, "What does PI think of me?" Okay, so this is interesting because I would say NJ, there's kind of like this feeling of giving up and walking away from a lot of his life, or this person's life. And this is because there's a lot of things that are not serving him or them, that they could get rid of, and they could just like, it would make the relationship that they have with you much better. The Empress, this person would think that you are perfect to have a family with, to raise kids with. So honestly, he's aware of this. But Page of Swords in reverse, I feel like this person doubts themselves, doubts their abilities, that they can walk away from a lot of things that they know to get a bigger, like, and get into this headspace where, this would being you. Like, he's got to give up quite a lot of his life for this to happen, you know? And that's the biggest thing. Divine Soul. I called Erwin from no caller ID and didn't talk. Did he know I was calling, and how did he feel after the call? Honestly, he knew that it was a woman. He probably thought it was his ex, to be honest. Don't know how I would describe that. He didn't know it was you. He thought it was like his ex or something, because at the moment he feels like she's playing mind games with him. It's weird because I feel like he's blamed someone else for that call. Siaba says, is MP pregnant? You're very welcome. Not yet. I think they're trying. So I would definitely say not yet to that. I'm trying to like stretch myself. Hello, Ariana. How are you? Tried to stretch my back, but at the moment it's not doing any like cracking sounds. I'm like, it feels like it needs to, you know. When will I be together with PI? There seems to be a little bit more cards on the table for here, energy. And it could just be that you need to get out of your shell a lot more, and you have to let go of something that happened in the past. So this could be holding on to X or holding on to a situation and being a little bit more confident, because as soon as you do this, the PI will be very attracted to this. So I would honestly say if you work on these two things, you will, you know, be able to do that and bring this person in for you. How does art view you physically, emotionally, and oof? It decided that it wanted to, you know, have a story here. I know that art likes her. Come on, that's not the point. Well, he definitely likes you. Okay. Um. Well, the whole idea, Aniche, is about you. You can change the time frame. So if you're working on like letting go of an ex, and you get out your shell and you become like more confident, and you kind of, I would think that they come to you almost instantaneously if you get both of those kind of, you know, finished up. It might be like, oh, but I'm doing what I'm doing. But if you're always thinking about this person in the past, then, you know, that's not going to change anything. So physically, you work a lot on your body, Megaheart. I don't think that is there physically yet. So Honestly, you're doing great. You're doing great, but sometimes like you could be fitter. I guess. Like I don't know. I feel like art is like a gym buff or, very much into fitness. So it's not this this, this sounds terrible. So do realize that it's not, you know, he just wants you fit. He wants you to be in shape. And because he tends to be more of a gym person, he can see like things that you could improve on. But he likes your body. that's that's not the case here. It's just like, okay, if you did this, like if you worked on your lats, this would change in your body. Like you would be able to like walk or run more without like losing breath. So it's kind of like you know that bit where he's like, okay, like this could work and this. He likes your body. That's not the point. Like when we work and we train and we're there slaving in the gym 9 hours a day. I'm not, but some people are. Then you kind of look at a body being very, broken down in spaces, and that's the problem. Is like that person's body becomes, oh, you could do this or you could do that. So don't worry, he loves your body. It's not the point of this. You know, emotionally, you are such a really amazing person emotionally. I think you're one of these people. I don't know whether you're like a Taurus in real life, but I feel like you're stable. You're kind of calming, relaxing to be around. Um, you don't seem to get angry quickly, or when you get angry, it's for a good reason. So, yeah, like emotionally, hell yeah. The one thing that he dislikes about you is sometimes you're very heartbroken in life. So if something gets broken or, something happened that you didn't like, you become really upset and sometimes inconsolable, like he can't make it happy, like, and he wants to make you happy, but sometimes you get caught up in the feeling of, your unhappiness. So that's what I would say to you. There was a lot more cards. So honestly realized that there was a lot more cards on the floor. So there's a lot of things that he likes about you, you know. But if we're picking one card for all of those, then those are the cards that came out. Siba says, how should I politely get DJ to slow down? Say that you're thinking about, like, other options. It might be, like, just spending a lot more time with family and friends so you're not in contact with them all the time. So it gives a space where you feel more confident. It could be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna see if other options that in my country, like dating romantically. Take time for yourself too. Instead of just like every time you don't have something on your plate does not mean that it's automatically put into someone, because I do feel like, Siba, that you spend a lot of time on people, like not yourself on other people. And that's a very good thing mostly, but it does mean that you're overwhelming yourself and you're no. Hello, Sarah. How are you? Rita, is Kay dating someone? Hmm. This is interesting. I'm gonna ask a pendulum to back me up on this question, because that's the interesting thing. Okay. So the cards are saying that he's separated and possibly divorced. So it's like everything is like in the past. So it feels like he's got married before and this is not this is past. He is free and available. He is doing his own thing right now. So this is why this card confused me, because I was looking at the others going, he's very available. But with this card I was like, so I had to ask the pendulum here, but from the cards it says that he's free. Zeba says FA or his family have put a hex on you. There's addiction here to fear. Like if something happens, um, you you get instantly maybe paranoid and stuff like that, and you start really become like focused on that. Why you haven't kind of left FA, like moving on from FA, is just like you talk about FA a lot. So he's always on your mind all the time. And there's kind of like this feeling that he was good. Um, he looked after you or he was nice to you. And that's the biggest part, is like you want this love, like he was comfortable, and so therefore your brain's like, this person was safe, like I don't trust myself to find someone that was safe. So when you found someone that's safe, it was just like, oh, finally someone to look after me. And you have to kind of go on and trust yourself to find someone that's safe. There's there's a difference between nice and safe, Siva. So this is the interesting thing, is like when we call safe, it's like what we grew up around. So if we had like a parent or a caregiver that had that same energy, technically they were safe. Like we tried to, make them happy because like, and so even though they're not nice to us, we still find them safe. Nah, there's no hex here. Did they Seba, after they said, oh yes, there's a hex on it, did they sit and go, oh, you have to pay this like £150 fee for me to remove this hex. Because, uh, those guys are charging a lot more for removal of hexes than putting on hexes. uh, Not that I would put a hex on anybody. I can't be bothered, I'd rather do like glamour charms on myself, or happiness boosting, or and I can't be bothered. So you could sit there and go, oh yeah, but if you're feeling drained or stuff like that, then it is your energy that's being drained. It could be that you have like energetic connection with FA. They could still have like this energetic cord. You can get some reiki done, which will try and get that energy back in alignment. I do it, other people can do it, you know. I'm not going to sit there and go, I'm the best person for that. But if you feel like you're still getting very drained, then that could be something that you do. And it's definitely cheaper than, this bogus hex removal. you know, don't worry. You've got to think about it. Like, life is good, you know, and it basically be pointless. You'd be like, well, why did you put a hex on that person? Because you want them to leave. I am, yeah, no. Magic has to make sense. I can understand some people going, I'm just going to hex for the sake of hex, or I'm going to curse. But, that energy is going to find you one day. What happens in a Reiki session? So if you're getting distance Reiki, it's you're negotiating with the practitioner. They're going to send Reiki at a certain time. So what happens with Reiki is you're opening up your connection, the Reiki practitioner, opening up a connection to the energy of the universe, especially the light energy of the universe, and then sending it into all your chakras. And if there's any kind of darkness or, problems with the chakras, we remove them, we cleanse them, we get them spinning again if they're not spinning. Sometimes I've seen them like the elastic band going through them, jumbling them up so they're kind of contracted. So it's like some of the chakras are pulled out of the positions. There's energy cords attaching people. So sometimes when we move on, we still have like a partial energy cord attaching us to someone else that I just remove. I do the psychic surgery, so I cut the cord and remove it. But as a person, you're not going to do anything. Essentially, what you do is you say a time, um, or you get booked in at a certain time. And what would happen is after that session, hopefully you would get a report straight afterwards. But that could be like a delayed report. But your session healing would have been done on that hour. So that would come a writing. So that would be like all your chakras, like what happened. And that's usually, I do a very short report because I feel like most of the time you would have felt that energy anyway. So a lot of times I sit there and go, okay. Some Reiki sessions you might not feel anything. It's just like it depends on the day. So Reiki, so what you get taught is to pull the healing through your body. So what you're doing is you're opening up your body to the universal energy. So what actually happens is you're going to imagine particular symbols, and then you're bringing in that energy through the symbols. So you're doing it like protection. So you're bringing it into your body and then you're sending it towards that person. So sometimes people have like crystals. Obviously, I don't have a Reiki set of crystals for healing. Some people have like a little teddy bear that they practice on, or they send the healing through the teddy bear. I like visualizing. So I bring up the chakras and I bring them in the space between me and, so I'm seeing your chakras, I'm seeing everything. So I'm treating the chakras and sending the energy to the chakras, but I can visualize them in front of my body. So even though it's through distance or Reiki, unless you got a Reiki practitioner, like if you go into a Reiki practitioner, you're going to have someone lay you on a massage table or on the floor, and then usually we hover hands, so it's only about this much between. So we're kind of treating the energy body that's a little bit outside the body and a little bit inside the body. So so you're holding your energy just away from the body and sending that energy into the body, into those chakras. You would not need a birth time. So usually people sit there and go, um, date of birth and their full name. But usually I sit there and go, well, the energy will know where to go or where to be directed to. But yeah, usually with clients, it'll be their full name and date of birth. You can book my sessions through Coffee. But there is a lot of talented Reiki practitioners around the world, so you can book in with them too. So, so Anna J says, "What would PI bring into my life? What would I love about him?" I think that it's interesting because I think that he would force you to be a lot more social. So I do feel like even though you will be more scared of people, because the hermit in reverse is being a little bit more scared, or I think that in some ways you'll be more excited about people, or he will bring you a lot more, looking at the world through a different lens. So you're definitely going to be more social in the future. What would you love about him? Apparently, he's a good cook, or just enjoys food. But I do feel like this is saying like he's a good cook. He would cook some delicious food. So I do feel like PI tends to be a little bit more enjoying about the world. You know, found a reason to live. But yeah. It's always going to be a different day. No, it's okay. It's good. It gives me time to just relax. Oh, hey, what would PI dislike about you? Um, the, NJ, you tend to overspend, and you always feel like the sky is falling down on your head. So I feel a certain amount of anxiety about you that you might need to address. Like, I don't know whether you're taking medication for anxiety or just like normally you're drinking caffeine that's raising your anxiety levels or something like that. But there's definite feeling of anxiety, and like if something goes wrong, it gets really like your stress response goes through the roof. Um, and he tends to moderate things. So he tends to, weirdly enough, he gets really excited about things, but he does have a very good way of dealing with stress and dealing with finances. So there's kind of like this feeling that he budgets or he finds a way to budget, which you seem to have less of. Ariana, I will answer your question because you're a moderator and you do an amazing job. So it's all good. Arita says question 6 is A free, like broke up with X or still committed? A is free. Yeah. A is definitely free. Will I have children with V? That's glad Delana says. Hmm. From these cards, I would say no. Um, I think that you both probably want a family together, but it seems like, honestly, I would say no to this. Based on that, you both aren't in ready time to be committed, and kind of like, there's still overspending. There's like running away from like kind of financial issues, or and controlling your moods. So like the temperance card says that it could possibly happen, but you guys would need to work on a lot of things before you guys got kids. Mikha says, will I meet R on his birthday today? Ooh, he must be a Taurus. Happy birthday to fellow Taurus. Uh, Megaha, I don't think he enjoys his birthdays, so he's not, you know, not so happy to be celebrating another birthday. And he doesn't want a big deal. He doesn't want a big kind of, birthday, so that's a big thing. But he will be glad to see you, and yeah, don't buy him a huge gift, but I think that you've already got a really nice gift that's kind of, a small thing, but it's meaningful. So, yeah, he'll be really happy to see you. Do, 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 do. Divine Soul says, how will Owen feel after receiving my messages? There definitely the imaginations there. Will he talk to me after this? He will. Do kind of listen to what he says, because it could be that you're not listening, Divine, but he will respond to you, and the imagination's just going through the roof. So, he will talk, but you might have to listen, you know. Ariana says, will Angel's karma for doing me wrong be that she gets a taste of her own medicine? Kinda. The cards are saying that she could get a lot of stuff that she wants in life. Like, I wouldn't say that she's like the cards say, okay, she could avoid this karma, but because she doesn't work hard and she's very lazy, then her karma will be applied. Sometimes people don't get karma because even though I wouldn't really want to say this, like sometimes we also are are there because we have a particular cycle to close. So after we realize that we never want this thing to happen again, it doesn't happen to us anymore. We made a boundary. But sometimes people's karma gets applied to them because, how can I explain it? Some people are waiting for their karma to happen. Like, I had a ex boss that I would go home and cry. And I got back to being, in a happy state, in a good state, and his business closed. He his car, when I was working for him, his car would always break down, and I was like, well, this is what happens when you don't look after people, is these things happen to you, you know. So that's a big thing. So I would definitely say yes. Hello, Belle. Welcome in. How are you today? What would PI's family think about me and dislike about me? Oh, would love about you. You're a very wise person, probably wiser beyond your years. You have a certain amount of faith, and Jay, so it seems like you have a faith, um, and you tend to keep away from people that are going to cause you harm. So there's kind of like this feeling that you're on a righteous path. I don't know what you worship or whether you believe, but there seems to be kind of this feeling that you're following a path. So, yeah, they're like that about you. What they dislike about you is the same as PIs, is that you get overwhelmed and you start getting anxious and everything keeps falling down in your head. You need to address your anxieties. If you get stressed, you get hella stressed, and you have to just like work on that. It could be just like reducing the amount of caffeine you intake, or meditation, something to do with kind of calming down the body every time it flares up and you become anxious. It's not just like the situation, it's about how you're reacting, how your body's reacting to things. And if you keep on reacting so high, your stress response will go through the roof every single time. And there's got to be a way to kind of calm down that stress response so it realizes that you're not getting attacked by a tiger, you know. You're good? Tired? Oh no! Why are you tired? I hope everything else is going alright. Will Flipkart refund your money for the missing items? I feel like soon. So next month. I don't feel like you get the postage back. So it's going to be like the postage doesn't get refunded to you, but everything else does, like the items do. But that's going to be next month. I feel like in a week's time, not just like a whole month. Alex, welcome in. Yay! Your sleep schedule is all whack. I quit my horrible job though. Woohoo! That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Congratulations. Have you thought about where you're going to go next, or welcome in, Alex. Megha says, what does as that family think about me? How would our relationship be after our marriage? Will we stay together or abroad? Um, our family tends to be kind of like very accepting, so I feel like they're going to be not really controlling a lot. So they're not gonna, they're just gonna be like, okay, well, they'll welcome you in like they do everybody else. So it's not going to be a bad thing. I think that they just realize they accept. They're very intelligent. They accept that things just happen. Will we stay together? What will be after marriage? So it seems like it's going to be a little bit of struggle, but after a while, you both win. Everything seems to be sorted. So I do feel like you both discuss things very well and then you work on things together. You don't kind of, you have that discussion and then you work on it together. Will we stay together in India or abroad? I feel like you guys move over to earn money, so I do feel like you travel abroad together. And then you come back to visit, and you'll probably move back to India to retire. So it's like you're there to make the money. Yeah, I so ready for something new. My friend offered me a job at Credit Union and I could use the experience. That's awesome. Like, good job. It's going to be hard because obviously friends moving in together is hard, but I think that you guys will do great. Well, you did ask me those questions. Ace 7. Your question 7. What does A's sisters thinking of me? Are they both brother and sister talked about me? Um, A's sister thinks that you're like sneaking around or you're being a little bit deceptive. I don't know. That possibly you're just far too polite, you know, and they just don't know how, or like she doesn't know where to put you, kind of thing, where she just sees that you're just trying to be polite, or the Page of Cups, self reflection. So this person's kind of trying to, like, a sisters trying to figure out who you are. Did they talk about you? Yes. Yes, they did. So it has happened. It's just like she doesn't know how to deal with you. Yes. Is it Owen who's sending me a request from N's profile? Um, yeah, don't overspend yourself. No, I don't feel like this is sending you a request from M's profile. I would honestly just keep sending him like some during the week. So maybe 2 or 3, but not that many because you want to be busy, Divine Soul. You want to spend quite a lot of time on other things as well, you know? Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think you also asked me, and I said something about it. I think I've forgotten. Zipper, is FA keeping tabs on me? Why? Because he's sad. Because he's kind of addicted to the heartbreak or the thought of the heartbreak that he had with you. So he's kind of like, you know, dealing with that. He also thinks that you could be the one. So there's kind of like this feeling that he's kind of like still thinking you're the one that got away, you know? Do, do, do. I was like, I'm very sure that I said that. um, but congratulations, Bill. Well done. It also, you have to say yes to things, you know? This is making me cry. Oh, I'll give you a hug. Please don't cry. Alex says, why is R being distant with me? This person's looking too far in the future when they need to focus on the present. And at the moment, they're feeling very much like they should focus on small things when they should see the bigger picture. So, at the moment, I feel, Alex, is that this person is like upside down and sideways. They don't know where they're going in life and they're getting very confused. It feels like there's a difference between where they want to go and where they are right now, and there's kind of like this feeling that it's not going away, you know. So that's the big thing that I would definitely say. Do you know that this person, Alex, still loves you? Yeah, wants to care and protect you. So I definitely feel like this person still wants to look after you. So this is a big strong thing about like love, or you know, really doesn't want to let you go. It's just at the moment, how can I explain it? Like I felt like this when I had a lot of things go wrong for me in my life and I was younger, and because I already always had like plans in place where I was going to go, when it happened, I just didn't know what I was doing anymore. Like things just kind of fell off a cliff for me. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do now? You know, like all of this stuff, how am I supposed to do this? And it wasn't like just like oh, I have to pay my rent or I have to pay my bills, but it was like this thing that I was really excited to do, like, and I thought like I could do for the rest of my life just disappeared. And I was just like, what do I do now? But yeah, I definitely feel this energy from these two cards. So do realize that is not down to you. It's due to this feeling of like the universe turning on his head, you know. I turned it down the offer first time because I was scared that I didn't have that much money and it's a big move, but I trust myself and her to make it work. That's awesome. Alex, you're very welcome. Yeah, that's the biggest thing about life is like as a tarot reader, you see so many people and they're one step away from something that they really want, but they never get it because they just don't say yes to it. Well, do you want a question? Everybody else is asking quite a lot of questions, so make sure to put down your question. Meg Ha says, what truths do I need to know about my connection with art or anything about his, You really consider yourself lucky? Everyone has a certain amount of luck, but yeah, you you have single-handedly manifested something in for your life that you really wanted. And yes, being feeling very lucky and feeling very grateful about it just means that more things are going to come in for you, Belle. You know, if we sit there and go, oh, but we expect it to happen, then it just, you know, dries up. Hello, Karen. Welcome in. How are you today? Okay, so what truth is this person hiding from you? They tend to be a little bit more controlling they than they usually are. It seems like at the moment they have a bit of control issues. This could just be that a lot of things have happened right now that has kind of put R on high alert about this. I think that this person's normally laid back. Um, and they're also being very up and, active. So it could be just that things haven't gone so well for him and his family. Um, this could, I don't feel like this is financial. It's just like things need to be sorted out by next year. I think in general, this is a family that doesn't hide a lot of things. So I don't think that they're hiding anything that big. It's just that they feel very uncomfortable getting people to help them because they tend to be very proud. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna put the tea time break time thing up. I will be right back, but I'm just going to take a couple minutes. Please, if you have only put down a certain amount of uh, questions, please put down some more because I know that some people haven't asked a lot of questions, like, and some people up to four. No, not 4 questions, like 7 questions or more. So if you do have got in late, please place down a couple more questions so it's a little bit fairer. But be right back, guys. Sorry, I'm back. Okay. I don't know what to ask. I'm at a point where I know I have to fix a focus on myself, and I already know how the person I love feels about me. Isn't that a great feeling? Like, oh yes, everything's fine. It's a great feeling, right? Um, Arita says, but what does a sister like, positive or negative? It's more like positive thoughts. Yeah, I think very much more positive thoughts. she's kind of looking at the future when she should focus on the present. So it could be just like at the moment, she's got to kind of figure that out. But at the same time, she's trusting the universe and she's going the way the universe wants to go. So she's seeing how it kind of plays out, you know. Um, Alexandra says, Hanger Scorpio's current feelings. Does he still spy on my Facebook, Instagram? He does, though, saying that I do feel like he is kind of stepping away from um social media, so I do feel like less and less he's spying on you. So it could be that this month he was like spying on you, but he's kind of stepping back from a lot of the social medias and he's just going to be like, so that's the biggest thing is like thank you, Rita. Hello, Jean. How are you? You've titled this Live as Open to Everyone. Yes, so everyone that's not a member can see it. However, only members can comment or moderators. So it's a good way of, Alexandra says, why do I still think about Hanger Scorpio? And do, 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 do. Still think about Hanger Scorpio, still hope he's the one. I'm married, never stopped loving him. Okay. It's hard because, like, for you, there's this feeling of mental exhaustion, like you're starting to relieve this, but you're still caught on the past with this person. The universe is like, trust the universe that is guiding you somewhere better. So I don't feel like I would say that you're forever married to this person. With the death card in reverse, it kind of feels that you're stuck on this person because you kind of want them to be your forever person. But with the Wheel of Fortune, it's bringing you someone better for you. Hello, Karen. Hello, Jean. How are you guys going today? Sarah says, how does Jay the Leo feel about me? With the lovers upright, there's definitely deep love here. Um, Page of Swords in reverse. This person's feeling very insecure about things, even though they come over being quite confident. That is the Leo. I feel it's funny about Leos. Leos can look very confident on the top, but they're very insecure inside. With the Nine of Cups, they're getting out of their headspace too. So with the lovers, they are very passionate people. But yeah, they definitely love you. This could also be a feeling that if this insecurity keeps on going, they might push you away. So be aware of that too. Oh, Alex, thank you, Alexandra. I completely lost Alex's in there. You're very right, because I'm like sitting there going, I don't remember a question. General for Alex. So at the moment, the cards are saying, don't worry about life, you're cared and protected for. Someone is coming in for you that's going to look after you. So that's definite feel of like protected, that you're going with the flow and life is not kind of slowing down for you. Like things are going to be going your way. So I feel that overall, Alex, whether it's love or, someone that really cares for you, this will make this kind of like next month alright. Like you won't have to worry about small things, it's more big things that are coming in for you. You're very welcome, Alex. Please let me know when I skip someone because sometimes I'm like, I skipped two, and then I look and I'm like, oh, I did. It's like my partner gave me the top of like a jar jam jar lid, and he's like, oh yeah, put it in the recycling, and then he's like, you need to put it in with the bottom. And I was really confused because he only gave me the lid. And then he's like, oh yeah, like you're the one that got the stuff out of the jar. And I was just like, so you give me a lid and don't give me the jar. And yeah, true. Like I forgot where the like I left the lid in the sink and left the jar on the counter. So it was my fault that they were there anyway. And he's like, you must have thought I was losing my mind, but you know. Uh, so Alexandra was, will your beauty business be successful? Skincare, cosmetic. Oh, okay. You want hairstyle, drugstore, supply. Okay. So skincare, walk away. Cosmetic, it's going to be hard to do cosmetics. You could do it, it's just going to be really hard and you might not want to. Hairstyles, there's already too many people that have hairstyles, so it's going to be like a saturated market. The drugstore store supply, if you could get a decent amount of people that could give you things, yes. But if you only have like a little bit of like supply, then you won't be able to supply drugstores. So, Honestly, I would sit there and go, out of all the businesses that you've asked me, this probably would be the worst for the cards that have been drawn for you for these. How does Jay Leo feel when I reply to his stories? He responds so quickly. He finds you cute and adorable. Oh, you're so quick. It's weirdly enough, he feels sometimes heartbroken. Maybe because he wants you to reply all the time. So with Queen of Cups, you're definitely caring. He likes that about you. He likes your energy. This guy is a very, I feel like infatuated on you. That's what I would say. And yes, so this could be just down to insecurity. We're talking about Leos. What kind of connection would Jay Leo like with me? Definitely drama queen there. One that's exciting for sure. And one where you're like the only person in their lives, so they would like less friends. With the Emperor, they are very dramatic. They need space to be dramatic in life. So if you could accept their drama queenness sometimes, that would be good. But in general, I think that they like the over top kind of lifestyle and they would like to spend it with you, you know? It's nice. It must be getting into like summer or something. Or, yeah, because we're in spring now and it's just like I can hear like the birds chirping outside because it's nearly sunset, but it's not. And it reminds me of the time that when I was studying, I would get out, like, I would stay up too late, and then go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, I get another attorney, other office that couldn't handle the case, they said. No, they'll be able to handle this, Karen. That's okay. That's fine. They'll be able to handle it. To what is being hidden in this situation? How much activity they've had to do? There's a lot of feeling like they've had to talk to a lot of people. And the person that you're like dealing with, like you have to put a case against, they're hiding. So it's just like that's a big thing. It's weird because I feel like the attorney that you have is going to give you the case. I don't know why. Maybe it's just like, don't go after these particular people. Like, go after some others. That's what I would say is like, whoever's on this case will win it for you. But yeah, was going to be, yeah, so it feels like more like active, or the lawyers that are on the other side are very active, and then the client, as the client, on that other side is like, hiding. So this is probably why the attorney is that you, you got turned away, is because they know that these people would be hiding, and they're not going to get their money back from this person. Yeah, that's weird, because I feel like there's someone around that you've asked for this case. Don't know why. Yeah, a lot of times people hide financially, you know. So even if this person wanted to take on the case, they might not be able to get the money, or sue this person, because they wouldn't be able to. I think it's Owen that told M to check on me whenever I'm not talking to him. He either messages me or send a request. I really feel like it's Owen asking him. I've like that's probably the case, but I don't feel like it's Owen. GD Harry, kind, mature, responsible guy, but can we be together? I think that at the moment you're wanting someone that's different from GD Harry, Alexandra, and it's just like you're you're overspending your emotions on someone that someone else. So this is not about GD Harry. It's about how you perceive who you want to be married to. And you don't want this relationship, so I'm not going to sit there and go, well, this could happen, you know, because Ace of Swords, like, you feel like your life is falling down, like you're running away from things. So I would honestly say to you, like, if you don't want this relationship, then there's not going to be a one together, you know. You could change that in the future. It just like the moment I would say no. Karen says, will I get some successful outcome, get some restitution from loss to put towards a move to a new home to get away from some toxicity? Some things that you won't get. So there will be an outcome, and you will get some money to put towards this move, but it probably won't be as much as you think that you're going to get, Karen. There's also Knight of Cups, so it's like figuring out how you're going to move cheaply. It could be that you move cheaply and then you can figure out where you're going to go from there, because at the moment you're struggling a lot and you should like walk away. So it could be just that, figure out a way that you can move in with someone else, or so you have the space and then the money will come to you, because it seems like it's going to be a while, and you might not go get that much from this compared to what you wanted. Four is adult daughter okay. Her mood is not okay. Page of Cups. I think that she's realizing that a lot of things are, not so good self reflection wise. So she's putting a lot of thought into these things and she's figuring out what she should walk away from. So I honestly say to you that she is changing. I don't know how much of a change it's going to be, but in the process, she's kind of becoming more aware that sometimes it's not just her fault for, and I'm not saying that it's your fault, it's the way that things have happened. You could just sit there and go, okay, I'm gonna blame myself, I'm gonna make myself feel worse. And that's happened a lot for her, like to her is like that blame. But as she realizes that a lot of these things are, everything just led up to these things, she's kind of realizing that she can walk away from things and it will become better. I would say so. Yeah, I think that M's like he Erwin's asking M and M's like making sure you're right. So I would say yes. Zeba says, how many children will I have at what age? So it's saying two. At what age? 30. Is that it? Yeah, 35. So a little bit late, but you will have two kids. Let me ask. So they're not twins. So you'll have them like after each other, but she's not connected to her. She's in counseling in group. I think that is helping her because I felt like she was surrounded or supported, and she's definitely really working on that. So I do think that's kind of giving her more of a reality boost that she's not blaming herself. You know, I'm going to put this in perspective of how I feel. You know, when you go on a diet, this is what she's feeling. Go on a diet and you suddenly eat a cookie and you blame yourself for eating that cookie, so you eat the whole bag of cookies because now you're a bad person because this has happened. And I think that she's realizing that it's not just like her fault, you know? So that's kind of taking away that guilt and shame for her, which has built up. And it's not your fault, so don't blame yourself. It's just like the way that we are set up and the way we're designed. It happened, and now she's realizing that she can be responsible for things, but she doesn't need to be responsible for everything. Oh, the honestly cookies. I went to the shops today because after we had the fight about the jar and me not knowing where the jar is, and I was like, you just gave me a random lid. How did I know where it's supposed? It's like, you put the hole is on the salad. Of course you know where the tea into the jars. I'm like, I'm going for a walk, and so I go past the shops and come back, and I go in the shops and I get him some crisps. But yeah, there's like French cookies called Madeleines or whatever they're called. I'm very sure they're Madeleines, not Madeleines. Um, and so therefore they're like really nice fluffy cookies. And yeah, I ate 4 of them today, and it's only a pack of 7. So and then I come home and my father later on comes up the stairs and he's so excited and he's got his chopsticks in hand because to eat snacks he uses his chopsticks and he's like, look, you bought me chips. And I was like, yeah, of course, because I went to the shops and like last time I went to the shops and didn't buy him crisps. He's like, but you should have bought me crisps. And I was like, but you said not to buy you anything. So this time I bought him crisps. And then he's like, oh yeah, but thank you, but next time can you get me Thai and sweet chili? And I was like, but you said all crisps were good. So uh, Sarah says a general read for me, please. Uh, this bad is a woman changing their minds. I just put a dress on him and call him Shirley. No, I'm very sure he'll be upset with that. 2000? What? That would be lovely. No, they're only 7. um, so, Sarah, there's a little bit of heartbreak, but it's just that some kind of opportunity that you wanted or, you know, you were thinking that you were going to get is not coming in for you. It's okay. What's going to happen is something is going to change and you'll be like, oh, I can see why I didn't get it. But in that point of time, you'll feel upset because, it's something that you want. Sarah, there feels like a time to connect into your creativity. This could be actually a feeling of, yeah, let me think about it because I'm just seeing what message this one has. It feels like you could create your own little business or something that you do that's kind of crafty, kind of creative. The cards are saying that this is also a feeling of fertility or having kids, but this feels more like the creative aspect. With Cups, you're coming out of your headspace, and I think this is time for you to actually just explore more, to create more. So that's what the cards are saying. Don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what the possibility that you can bring in for yourself doing something that's creative. Yes. I honestly believe we do. I do wonder like people that sit there and go, um people always like have the karma applied from past lives and stuff like that. And I think sometimes people have bad luck and they're good people. And you could sit there and go, it's a good way for people that have encountered something to go, well, it's probably just karma from my last life, brush it off, keep up and going. But yeah, people do create their karma because they do particular actions that screw over others. And after a while, they do get justice because, it gets applied to them. Correct, he has not been posting anything during Eid Fitri. Weirdly enough, it's a holiday. I usually don't post on holidays. I tend to go on holiday and not really spend a lot of time around my phone. I do have my phone on me, but I don't usually take photos. When and where will you meet your future spouse? This feels weirdly enough like something outdoors. Like, honestly, I would say you will bump into this person and Jay. So, like, you're bending down and you're outside, and this person just walks into you. And you could be upset at them, but you start laughing and then you just start talking. I think that this person apologizes and they're like, "Oh yeah, would you fancy like a cup of coffee or something like this?" I don't think this is going to be that like long. Like you said that you were going to move to like southwest London, and I do feel like this is in London somewhere. And this could be like during like a festival or something. Like I was thinking carnival, but I don't think it's carnival. But yeah, maybe this year because it doesn't feel that far away. Yeah, I'd say this year, but that's what the cards say. It's weird because a lot of times these things are not passive. Like you're going to, go and do this thing, and that's how you meet your other half. But this feels like a weird thing about you being somewhere, it being slightly packed, you lose something on the ground, and this person just barrels into you. Uh, duh, duh, duh. Mikha says, "What can I do to improve myself, to improve my relationship with art?" Work on your anxiety, my love. This has come up like so many times, and it could be that you need to work on maybe like natural ways to like help your anxiety, but your anxiety is quite strong. So it could be meditation. It could be if you're not dealing with things very well, find a way of just removing amount of anxiety. Like for me, um I used to have anxiety after 3 cups of coffee. My partner tends to be a little bit more stressed than I do, and he's got a slower, like a faster stress response than I do. So if he gets stressed, I get stressed. So that's a big thing. With Queen of Swords, there is a feeling that you need to temper your temper. So it could be that you get very frustrated easily sometimes. And then if someone comes in and talks to you when you're frustrated, you can be a little bit more angsty with them, or lose your temper completely. And it could just be the same as your anxiety. It's a stress response, and you need to deal with this in a way that's more beneficial. Like, obviously, there's things that you can take to lower your anxiety. So, you could do that. You could have chamomile before bedtime and try to get some more sleep. Things like that will help improve your anxiety and your stress response, because I do feel like at the moment your stress response goes to 0 to 100 quite quickly. The other thing is heartbreak. You're still not healed, so in some places, and this could be therapy or just doing some shadow work, something like that that helps you understand why you're hurt. That's what I would say for you, is just like working with that, healing that. Do, do, do. Okay. Right. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I was like, I don't know where I ended up. I got lost. I'm on Bell. Does the universe have someone for me romantically in mind that I'll meet when I finally make it to Washington and settle down? No. It's like settle down, figure out your life, and then work on dating. So, it's like at the moment we don't know whether you have a lot under control. Like, you're going to be like sitting there looking at options, going, nah, I'm not ready for them yet. So it's like kind of see the bigger picture and then, work on that. Bell. So that's what I would say for you. Alexandra said, "You said my forever marriage is richer, closer to Angasoria than she, the below his above anger. Stepdad and mom are the ones that are rich, not his dad." I think at the moment this person's not as rich, really. So there's kind of like this feeling that he's growing things right now, and he's going to be richer than Ang Angna Anger. Oh, how do you say it? Anger. I feel like there's a way of saying that double G without it being, yeah. Um, yeah, so it's kind of like this person doesn't inherit the wealth, your future marriage, your forever marriage. So that's one thing that I would definitely feel for you, is just like this person works on their own thing. This could be an agency that they set up. But at the moment they're doing this, so obviously at the moment they're really not rich. But the thing is, when you get married to them, they're rich and they're going to be quite successful. Ang Ang Naga. Okay, I think I get it. Obviously, I can't put a space in it, so I've got to go Ang Ang Naga. Sorry, I'm butchering his name. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm going to do a pendulum for your next question, Alexandra, because I'm going to. Yeah, it's like. It says next year. You'll meet him. Do you get married shortly after? Well, that's being very positive. So, honestly, you'll probably meet almost straight away. There's kind of like this feeling that you guys meet each other and you like each other so much you keep on dating, but I don't think that you marry very further out, but it could be that it does take like 6 months to a year to get married, but it feels like soon. Like in that bit that you would have to get ready and for a wedding and stuff like that. Megahertz says, how will my finances be? What profession do you see me in? Okay. So, interestingly enough, your finances would be good if you kind of look into investing and, growing your money. So, take time. Obviously, I'm not, a financial expert whatsoever. I do invest. Should you follow any of my advice investing? No. Obviously, you have to make your own mind up. But yeah, take your time and kind of look in a way of like either have your own property or something that you can do that will grow your finances. What profession do you see me in? Something that you generate a lot of ideas. So this could be architect. Something that you do. Yeah, weirdly enough, I'm coming back to architect. Someone that really draws out. The weirdest thing is you could be an architect slash landscaper, but I do feel like you do architect as a living. Abroad, I feel like abroad, not in India, it feels like this job would not be wanted in India as much as like overseas. Yeah, let me know where you're like, oh my god, I met him. Hang Naga. Maybe. Maybe better. Did that work? It's a lot of times people don't realize that you can say a name and absolutely butcher it because the way you pronounce it. Manesia is one, and I always have this Izia because Australian accents are very hard on the A's. And if you go to Australia, they have, and the weirdest thing is after like a L, we have, or, a N, it's like a IE. Like, weirdly enough, like Australia doesn't have like a Y in it, but somehow Australian accents do. So sometimes, sorry guys for mispronouncing names. I do realize that that seems very, you know, unpolite about me, but I do try. Sometimes really hard. Oh, okay, hanger. Okay. Okay, right, right. I will invite you. That would be my first Indian or, overseas wedding that I've ever gone to. I've been to Australian weddings. Have I been to a wedding over here? No. None of my friends have got married. Well, while I've been here. I do have married friends, but no. None of them have got married while I've been here. Alex will R be the one for me. If you want this person to be the right one for you, then yes, this person's the one for you. Um, there's a lot of options for you, but I think if you do choose this person, then yes. You like Jay. I know. Like, you've been asking about this. um, okay, so we've got a lot of Jay in here, Sarah. So, what does Jay Leo like most about you? Okay, so there seems to be some freedom. So, you're not pinning this Leo down. You're allowing the Leo to be kind of bossy, being, over the top, flamboyant. You're also letting the Leo be a little bit of a workaholic. So even though there's nothing about like liking most about you, it's more like this Leo feels like you're not trying to control him or change him, you know? Will your solo internet adventure be successful? Mm. Okay, so the cards are saying that you might need to look at your competitors, Jean, and kind of figure out what they do good that you could like copy. Like one of the my favorite, well, he's not really my favorite, but one of my, yeah, I would say one of my favorite streamers. He said like this line called yoink and twist. So you take something and you kind of change it so much that it's not that person's idea anymore, but it works the same. Like it still becomes very successful because you're doing things that people want, you know. And if you look at your competitors and maybe even reach out to some because they will help you. Page of Cups, getting out of your self reflection phase. So, do you realize that your business is not so much about you, it's about the world around you. So why your business would fail or your business would succeed is based on the environment it's in. It's not you. There's kind of a heartbreak here, but when I ask why the heartbreak is like you need to be more physical. So it could be that you're kind of looking at this as being a solo thing, like on the internet. However, if you don't bring that physicality in, it feels like you should tell your friends or, sell to neighbors or whatever. So it's not just like online, because it seems like word of mouth or, something else would do better. And if you're not bringing in that physical aspect, then it might fail, because a lot of times people, if they don't see that other people have recommended it, or they don't know, they don't buy the product, or so Jean, it's weird because it feels like you are selling something. It might not be a product per se, maybe a service. I don't know, but it feels like there's a selling thing involved. That doesn't mean that you don't have a product. So if I go and I sit there and go, if I'm a tarot reader, I could go around and say to people, look, I sell on eBay, or, how to set up your own website. And I'm like, well, I charge like for 5 hours and I'll set up this website for you, or something like that. Then technically that's a product, but it doesn't have anything attached to it. Did I skip any of your questions? I probably did. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm gonna double check. Okay, I see Virgo's current actions for you. What was your first one, please? I've got your second one. Please just put yeah, the first one down, so I can do both of them at the same time. How will my separate businesses with GMLP? Okay, so the first one, G, it feels like you guys are going to fall into this business. I don't feel like it's going to be like hugely successful, but it's going to be stable and you're going to get income from that. From this one with M, this person's going to be more in control. So your other, like the person that you're in business with, is going to be more in control. So you still get quite a decent amount of money, but they seem to be very stubborn. So you might get a lower than average return this year, just because they want to do it their way. And I think that they could do it simpler if you guys hired someone. But I do feel like in the second year of this business, or after this year, they're kind of going to be more malleable, where they're like, oh, okay, I see that we didn't do very well this year. How do we change? L L is going to be a decent amount of money. It feels like a great amount of money coming in with L's business with you, like the partner to L. Honestly, I feel like this is a good idea because it's quite a simple idea, and a lot of people seem to need this. I don't know what it is, but it feels like uh, so much of a simple thing that people really want, and that's why you're making lots of money, is because there's a small profit margin for like how big the price tag could be or will be in the future. With P, it's hard because like you're trying to control this too much, and you should let it go and allow it to naturally work on its own. So it could be that P's partnership with you is like, how can I explain it? This possibly is the most sustaining one, so it doesn't really need that much work. It's going to make money whether, you like it or not. What are Virgo's feelings and future actions towards me? Guys, I'm going to be finishing up in less than an hour's time from now. So that would finish up 10 o'clock my time. So anybody that hasn't got a lot of questions down, please put your questions down, okay? So what is Virgo's current Virgo's feelings and future actions towards you? So at the moment, Jean, this is a weird thing where this person could think about marrying you, or there's celebrations coming in for both of you. So it's just like this feeling that a lot of things are going good between you guys. With the lovers upright, there's definitely a lot of love shared between you both. So I do feel like that's a big thing. However, he does have from the past some way of seeking attention that's probably not the best way, and it could just be that he wants to know that he matters to someone, and he feels very unloved after his last relationship. So not that I would leave this behavior, and go, oh well, I can understand, like, you never got these things. Realize that it's not fair for you to always give in for him, but he will want, to feel loved. But overall, it feels like this person might not have that much money, After the divorce, they're not going to feel very much in that feeling of, splurging lots of money. So there'll be like coffee dates or, going out for a bite to eat, not, a whole meal. He's done that before a few months ago, and I talked to him about it. He's an emotional person, and I'm not. You have to realize that there's sometimes you just have to work on realizing that you're very different from your partner. Like, yeah, I'm the same. I'm pretty much non-emotional. Well, the way that I speak. especially when speaking, is non emotional. And my partner is very emotional. So it's kind of a hard thing because I sit there and go, that's not what I meant. That's not what I said, you know. His heart is wealthy. That is a good feeling. She lives in an all-female home. That's a good thing. No worries. No worries. Alexandra says, what fashion business would be successful? Dress, bag, shoes, pre-loved. So, dress, no, walk away. Bags, yes. This might be collector items. Pre-loved items that you look after. There's got to be like a collector's way that you procure the bags. So it could be that you are a specialized seller. Shoes, no. Unless the particular niche type of shoes, you're not going to be able to get into this. Pre-loved, the cards are saying yes, you could do pre-loved, but you would have to advertise it quite a lot and sell it certain ways. So this could be through Instagram, like setting up a mannequin or setting up a model to do your pre-loved. So you get a particular outfit and you style it and then you put it on a model or a mannequin and you sell it through Instagram or some kind of lookbook. So this could be YouTube as well, like oh yeah, all the pre-loved items in the description below. Click on here to go to my website. So that's what I would say from these cards. You have to tell me one day because I'm curious. I've never seen like someone do like 5 or 6 businesses before. Megaha says, will I be able to take my parents on a trip? I think R takes them on a trip. I think they're more comfortable at home, even though you could take them on a holiday. I think that they would like to stay in India. So it might be like, oh, you could fly them out, you could fly them overseas, but I think in general they're very comfortable where they are. So yeah, it might be like, oh yeah, you get this satisfaction out of a trip, but they're more comfortable, going to a holiday spot in India than leaving the country. Jean, will I get pregnant this year? There's a possibility coming into next year that you get pregnant, This year, no. It's like, no, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, next year, I feel like a very big possibility next year, not this year. Zeba says, what age year you get married? Feel like it's sooner than later. The cards are saying that you might be upset about this, but it says 3 years from now you get married. And that you should be looking now for like who you want to be with, because honestly, I do feel like this person's pretty handsome, quite dashing, very passionate in words, like maybe like someone that is always hyper in some kind of energy, but overall very happy all the time. You're very welcome always, Jean. I like how it's like everyone has different speeds when it comes to asking me something, and some other people are just like the bells on like question 3, and I was like, okay, Alex is now on question 12. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying this. So next month will be the last 2 Tuesdays of every month is like members only. Unless something happens, which it hasn't up to this point. So I will tell you in advance if, Tuesdays are not a go that week, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, tomorrow's going to be everyone all at once, like normal. And then I'm going to try and see if I can do another reading for Thursday, like, 5 or 6 o'clock my time. So that would be good. Okay. Bill, can you squeeze in another question just because I'm going to close the list very shortly? We've got 30 minutes. If somehow we get to a point of time that I completely finish up before those 30 minutes, of course, other people can ask questions, but I think we're going to get to that end, and it's just like, um, so Alexandra says, what does the universe want me to do more and do less? Okay. So they, weirdly enough, the universe wants to do more energy, not to direct things. They want you to spread your energy around to multiple things. They also want you to pull out of your stage of self reflection. So a lot of times you're like thinking, and this is good because you're changing yourself on an emotional level, and on a spiritual level and stuff like that, but it's kind of time to come out and kind of process reality without a certain amount of filter. um and do less. Alexandra, they're saying you should do less of focusing on the past. You've got past attachments to people and situations. I feel like this is more than one. situation or person in the past that you need to let go of, because it's kind of creating your reality now. There's a cycle that you're not escaping, that your cards are saying, look, you could actually get out of this. So there you go. That's what they said. I'm gonna just put this up so I can go through the rest of them and just work on everybody. Karen says 5 general, of course. That sounds like a good thing. So, Karen, your general is that a lot of things are picking up for you. Queen of Pentacles, you're going to be in a state of like creating money or creating wealth for yourself. Things will flow quite easily, and I think that you're going to be in a stage of like really being grounded, like being very much like having that ability to progress forward that you were like really frustrated about is going to happen. Love is there's someone coming in for you, or someone that's coming very strongly in for you. The love is here. This person loves you quite a lot. Um, I think it's fair to say that they, like, you both work or function as like one. A lot of times with Two of Cups, that's definitely a unity card. But I do feel with the Lovers card, it's very much like you guys are working together, working to overcome maybe disabilities. But overall, I think that you guys function and work very, very well together. There's a feeling that things will turn around and there's a lot better things on your plate. So that's very important. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. I really do. I've seen 1111 or today. Well, actually triple one. Triple one today, and then, I looked back at my time place, and then it was like 4 ones, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So, it's not the first time I've seen that today. I'll do your super chat first, because that makes sense. Thank you for the donation. When will I meet my future spouse? Will they be financially stable? I do feel like this is going to be in the next kind of couple of years. I think that you will learn who they are this year. So someone's coming in for you that you'll be like, oh, yeah, they're perfect. Will they be financially stable? Not yet. I feel like they're working on it, but they're talking a lot about it. Thank you for 2 months. Well done. Well done. Welcome back. But it feels like sometimes they over talk about stability. They want stability in their life, but a lot of times financial stability is an illusion, and I do feel like the person that you're going to marry is going to be a very strong entrepreneur or someone that wants things in life. And so therefore they might sacrifice some of that stability to have like good things later. Is DJ a potential future spouse? Yeah. With the magician here, that would be a very probable yes. So there you go. Megha says, does R have a crush on someone or someone have a crush on him? Does he know or talk to anyone else romantically? No, he doesn't talk to anybody else romantically. Someone does still have a crush on him, but this is in the past. So I do feel like he's moved on. He's not really talking to them. Um I think having a crush on someone turns his tummy funny. So I don't think that he's got a crush on anyone. Obviously that's how can I explain it? Like for me, like I'm looking for a certain energy when I think of crush. So you could sit there and go, does that mean that he doesn't like me? That's a different energy. I'm thinking of crushes, like, you know. So if you're like love, then yeah, he definitely loves you. I don't think he loves a lot of people, but I don't feel like in the same way he loves you. So he loves family, you know. He loves friends. But he's a very loving person. I think that's one thing that his energy is very strong about. Wow, that's amazing. When will I get in a relationship with Owen and start a happy life? Probably this year. With the star, the Three of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel this year. The cards say just keep on carrying on as normal. Like, there's no real need to, you know. It's hard if I just like hold down the button. It's like it skips all the way down. Okay. Divine Soul, is Owen my twin flame? Is his moon sign Aquarius? Yeah, he could probably be your twin flame. Let me ask the pendulum because there seems to be a confirmation here. Let me see. So, yeah. That makes sense because the way that you guys bounce off each other. With Temperance, I would definitely feel like his moon sign is Aquarius because with Temperance, you definitely have the water there. What faith is best for me? Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity. Let's pull another one because I'm feeling very strongly. Okay. So, with Buddhism, I think that you would get so far, you know. It's not the worst religion to kind of settle for, but I do feel like you would spend a lot of time in your own headspace and not being very present. So maybe Zen Buddhism. Hinduism is a lot of talk. I feel for you, like, you wouldn't get into it, and you're possibly practicing Hindu already, but it feels like there's a lot more talk than, actually being part of it. Christianity, there's a lot of ideas there, so honestly, I don't think that you would hate Christianity. It's just some of the ideals you'd be like, well, they're ideals, they're not really, like, people are not practicing what they're preaching, you know? So it could be just some parts of it where you're like, it wouldn't line up with what people are saying. With Justice Upright, there seems to be a better religion for you than one of these. It could be that you kind of use all of them. Like, how can I explain them? Every religion's good, but some of them are different from others, and I do think that having a healthy space, but it could just be that you haven't found the right religion for you yet. I like the idea of, like, with Hinduism, God is so vast and God has many avatars, and God is part of us, which I love about Hinduism. If you want really to kind of learn about Hinduism as a whole, like Bhagavad Gita, all those books are very important. Um, it's a very old practice. And the first where zero comes from is actually a concept in Hinduism that there's nothing, and nothing is a zero. So we actually use zero every single day now, but it used to not exist for most cultures. But obviously, with Hinduism, they already had zero. Like, they were counting nothing, or they had the concept of nothing, which you think that's a weird thing not to count now, but they didn't. So, Christianity is huge, but so is Hinduism. Okay. What past is us still holding on to him? Holding on to a person. He's holding on to a person in his past. What is his karma for deceiving you in the past? It might not be considered karma, but he's had to make up hours, or, he's got to work harder for his work because he deceived you. I don't know why this comes back as karma, but yeah, he's got to accept that, he kind of created that. So yes, he's receiving karma. Yeah, it's just cuz I need to finish. I did the reverse spell saying who did the spell on me. It should return to sender by looking at YouTube. Did I do it right? Some of it. I feel like you didn't do every, like, maybe your protection wrong, but I don't think that's going to matter. um, it has worked. Like, the attention was there. Like, I don't think that it's been, you know, especially return to sender kind of is one of the simpler spells. So I do think it worked. We were on Divine Soul. Um, Question 10, how will my 2024, will all the hardships end? Some things will end, some things will continue, Divine Soul, but I do feel like a lot of things do end, the hardships do end, other than one. And it could be like COVID, but it's just like a lot of people are going to go through this the same time as you, so that, you know, it's life. But all the ones that are specifically for you, it's going to be fine. Elwyn's going to be coming back very closely at the end of the year, so that's a good thing. Um, did the cord cut I got worked at all? I, weirdly enough, I would say no. Um, some things did, some things didn't, but I wouldn't say that it was a complete ending. I don't know why. So it did work, but it didn't feel like it completely cut the cord. I have a feeling my friend KMZ avoids me. Why though? I do feel like this person does avoid you. And it could be Siba, they don't like talking about emotions. So when they're around you and like you're talking about emotions, they feel very uncomfortable. They try to be very, very strong, you know, and they try to be very stubborn, but you know, around emotions, they just don't know how to deal with things, you know. You skipped Divine Soul. Which one? Because I did this one. How will my 2024 in terms of relationship with him? Will my hardships end? Very sure I did that one. Divine Soul says, what was Richie sending me messages? Is my old office number with Owen? Is he accessing it or was accessing it? Richie likes you. With this is weird because this person seems to want a family with you. Maybe, you know, If there's same sex, it could be that they like your creativity or they like the way that you dress. But if they are, masculine, yeah, Um, the thing is that he used to access the um old office number. He did access it. In the past, he's now not accessing it all. Yeah, I was like sitting there going, I'm sure that was the same question. It's sometimes hard because I've got to kind of think, you know. Karen says, will I move modular home to a new location I purchased or sold it for a good price? Will I live in a shoebox? I don't get fair restitution for my money from the sale of my home. Okay, modular home to new location. I think you could swap, Karen. So I think that there is a company that does modular homes that could just like sell your home where it is and then you buy a new modular home instead of like cutting it. But I don't think that the price is going to be that expensive to ship it. So it's not going to be a bad thing. Um I You will not live in a shoebox. It's going to be maybe comfortable. Like, that bit where it's going to be a little bit cozier, but I don't think that it's going to be a bad place. And you're going to enjoy this place that you move to. So it's not going to be a shoebox. It might be a little bit smaller than what you've lived in before, you know. So that's the thing that I would say. No, it's I don't know. It feels smaller, but it feels more comfortable. Like they've designed it very well. Your eye circles, divine soul, have increased this much this year. I'm going to a Dutch clinic to get it fixed. It's a good option. Do you realize these dark circles might come back? You've been very much focused on Erwin, especially late at night, and so therefore you're not getting enough sleep. There's other things that you're thinking about, but a lot of it seems to be Erwin late at night. That's. Oh, okay. That might be the case. That could be what I'm seeing, but I do see it being very comfortable, and you have like a option of getting like a fireplace or something, like a little um cooker, not a cooker, but like a log stove thing, and it's got lots of space. Yeah. Like, I honestly think there's a company that you will sell your modular home to, and you'll be able to then buy from that company in another place. That's what I would say. And it will be nice. You might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but after a while, you just love this place so much. Divine Soul says, I'm getting papers done for my lawyer to sell my house. Will it work? Will I need more paper or anything else? There's something that you might have to search for them to do with this selling. But other than that, it will work out very well. I don't know. This might be something like a title deed or something like that that you will have to look for. That you might not have anymore, but it's fine, you know? Because you can apply for it and they'll send it back out to you. So that's a fine thing. Karen, I did your general one. That sounds really nice. Yeah, I was thinking that you're more outside a lot and you have like kind of like a garden. Maybe you have it in someone's backyard. I don't know. But that's what I'm getting is like you're surrounded by a lot of like greenery and you can grow your own things. Divine Soul says, "What does Owen like and dislike about me?" Okay, so what Owen likes about you is that you dress very elegantly or you always look the best. It might be like very classical kind of dressing, but you always look very nice. The world in reverse, you kind of know where you are in the world and you kind of know where you like I feel like you're established in life. You kind of know where you're going, you know what you're doing. What he doesn't like about you, you can be a very much similar than him being very like work focused, very much like sometimes a little bit pushy when it comes to like getting things done, you know. But I would say it's just because sometimes you're very similar with that business mind. NJ says, "Will it be PI I'd bump into and be future spouse?" At the moment, it'll probably not be PI. Things have changed between you guys. I think that at the moment, you're really holding on to this relationship with fear energy. And this is hard because when you hold on to fear, fear changes the way that people perceive it, you know, perceive you and perceive the world. So if you hold on to fear with people, then you might feel like they are yours. You also get really upset if they talk to other people. With the temperance in reverse and the talking, it just feels that at the moment there's a lot of talk, but not enough doing with this PI. So at the moment, it feels like someone's different that's coming in for you, but that doesn't mean that it can't change in the future. It's just the way that, you know, things happen, and that's why you get different readings. But at the moment, the cards are saying that there's someone different for you. Twin? No. Well, yes. Technically, if you have a twin flame, they will go through the rest of, you know, um, the what is it called? The Akashic records. So technically, until like everything finishes up, then you will have always your twin flame come in for you. But that doesn't mean that a twin flame has to be with you. Like, I was like, I'm glad I'm not with my twin flame now. Um, because twin flames are very similar to yourself. So that's why like they're called like looking at a mirror. That's why they're very hard to live with because you have to like deal with all the stuff that you don't like about yourself, because they will annoy you about the things that you don't like in yourself. Honestly, I would kill it. Like, I would kill him. I would honestly kill him. Jakarta, Bali, Chunga, Solo. Oh my lord. Surabaya. I feel like Surabaya just on these cards alone. But yeah, I think you're going to be deciding whether, to go to Jogja? Yeah, or Surabaya for a wedding. I think you guys live close to there. I don't know whether they're nearly the same place. It might be close. Yeah, like honestly, it's hard because a lot of times we are. This is why shadow work's so important. Though last time I tried to attempt shadow work, I wrote something down and I burst into tears, and I just couldn't couldn't go back. And I need to do it again because I didn't realize how much that hurt me. Weirdly enough. Twin flames is extraordinary rare. A lot of, well, technically everyone has a twin flame, but to have a twin flame relationship is hard because how it's supposed to go is that your soul divides, and so therefore you have a female side of this and a male side, and so therefore technically, you know but yeah, don't romanticize a bad relationship. Like if things are going really, it's probably not a twin flame connection. It's actually a toxic relationship. And please, guys, leave. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very exceedingly rare to like end up in a twin flame connection with someone. But I don't want lessons forever and ever. You mean Akashic Records, so Oh, shadow work. Hmm. Well, life is learning. Belle, is Tyler going to be able to move on? At some point of time, yes, Belle. But at the moment, not yet. So it's kind of like this um, desire to keep holding on for a while. Honestly, it's very hard as a tarot reader, dealing with everybody's, because everyone wants their life to, we want to change the person we're with, and we want them to be nice to us, and and if they're not nice to you, there's a very high probability they're not going to change that. You know. Like, honestly, I would say to you that everyone has a twin, because that's what because we're split, you know. But to end up with them, or, be part of them, what is like, honestly, I'd be like, like one of my best friends. I was said to his like wife, I said, "Thank God you're marrying him because he would annoy the crap out of me." um, yeah, Taurus slash Gemini, not a great mix, you know. You like honestly, people don't try to fix someone that can't fix themselves. I learned that the hard way, and that was not that was not fun. Although saying that, the person that I thought I was helping has now, she's now going to run a 10K, and I could never be as proud of her as I am now, you know. And she did that by herself, you know. Mega Heart says, "How will my marriage day be? Will it be small, big, fat wedding? What culture will we follow, ours or mine? Small or big?" I think that it's going to be a bigger one, but it's going to be like going with the flow, you know? So it's not going to be like big, big, but it's going to be enjoyable. Which culture? I think yours, Mega Heart, because it seems to be more important to have that culture as how you get married. And I don't think he cares. It'd be rather like, I we all want to what was it the other day, because I was listening to someone and they were talking about relationship dynamics now in modern day society, and they were like talking about how dating now, and like how guys, how women pick dates, and they were like, okay, so we're getting a lot of guys that there's a lot of female attention towards like a couple of guys, and they were like, well, it might be that women have to choose like one guy, and so therefore there'll be more women around one guy. And I started laughing, and I was like, okay, so this is how we're going to do society in the future. So, it's always kind of funny because like everything doesn't change. It's the same thing, just on a different day. Alexandra says, always obsessed with bags since teen, but I want a design t-shirt, sell it in a hotel, scarf, dress. Will it be a success? No, don't do this. um, I think a lot of people do this, and I don't feel like you're going to get the results that you want with this. Those dating tips are not work that way. Honestly, the way that the Western world, I don't think that it happens in other countries, but the way that we design dating apps, then there's like people on there that are, that the app designed specifically to send the most women to. So, you know, it's always kind of funny because I start laughing. I'm like, okay, so is this a app problem or is it just humans' problems? But anyway, we'll see, because it's like another future. We'll see how society changes, because different cultures have different ways of dating. I was talking to a friend about there's two different particular um tribes, cultures around Tibet, which I was kind of interested by. and one's Masao, which is like the women the like control like the household. And so these men have these walking marriages, so they come in and they like, you know, come in, have sex, you know, go back to their house, you know, that they don't have this bit of responsibility of raising the child. The females do raise the children. Um but the interesting thing is in Tibet, there's one in some places, not all Tibet does this, but there's some places where a woman will have like more than one guy that she's married to, and she can choose at any time to have like less, and usually they're like brothers or something like that. And I was like thinking it's so interesting that around the world we have different dating structures and in or marriage culture. And it's interesting to think that some places you would consider backwards and some places you consider progressive. And it'll be interesting to see how things change because things evolve and we don't need the same things that we needed before. Before there was Tinder, Instagram booming. Isn't Instagram still something that people kind of date through, you know? Divine Soul says, I will let Owen know where I'm going for holidays. Will he try to stop me or try to talk about it? I think that he will wish you luck. I think he'll be jealous about like that you're going on holidays and stuff like that and he can't come. But I think that he realized that you work very hard and you need some holiday. Yes, on Facebook. I've never tried Tinder. Well, yes, you put tenders on grills. I have done Tinder. I met my partner on there. It was not fun. I found that there was a lot of aggression on Tinder, but honestly, I found my partner, and he's a good one. He's a good egg. So, you know, I can't complain about Tinder that much. But getting out of like a 9 year relationship and not knowing how to date anymore, that was kind of funny. Okay, what food should you not eat? The cards are saying like stay away from just like brown foods. So things that might be like more bread or, you know, um there's another message, but I'm not getting it. So I'm going to move on to the next one and I'm going to come back. It's also the timing that energy that you're eating at. So there's a difference of time. So instead of like focusing on like how you want to lose weight in the future, you should just focus on what times you're eating because the time is important. Make sure you drink a certain amount of water. Don't overdrink it because obviously sodium loss is a big thing. But there's kind of like this feeling that you're not eating enough fiber and you're not drinking enough water. So the brown food is possibly processed food, but it feels like it's eaten in quantity. So it's like you can have processed food, you just can't eat it as much. So honestly, I would say that a lot of it's just down to behavior, not um what you should eat. Like obviously eat more salad and kind of create more fiber. Obviously don't just eat psyllium husks or something like that that's going to be dry fiber. I'm meaning like lettuce and stuff like that. Don't, you know, don't go, oh yeah, I have to eat like a rabbit. No, it's more like bulk the meals around some fiber and some more plant based fiber. So I feel like energy is like getting up and maybe eating straight away, and that might not be a good thing, but it's also don't kind of focus on eating too late. So I do feel like wait until like your kind of stomach settles in the morning, maybe drink just a glass of water, allow like your stomach to settle and then eat instead of just going, okay, I'm going to eat now, because then you're, like you're kind of breaking that fast too early. But yeah, more water and more fiber, and because they're both interlinked, because you need more water when you eat more fiber just to allow the fiber to go through. So love with my real jewelry business, like no matter I what I want to keep it, even though selling slow because it's expensive. Will you keep it? You will keep it. Um. Okay. So the cards are saying that you should, Alexandra, focus on a line of jewelry that's a little bit cheaper. It could be that you start selling like a chain, like a very small chain, and then something small, like a token or a pendant that's so small that people can still buy from you, but it's not as expensive, or it's like half expensive, Um, there's fear, but the sales will pick up. So this seems like some good news. So this could be how can I explain it, Alexandra? Doing certain promotions or working with some influencers, something like that brings you a little bit more money and a lot more, traffic. And I don't know whether it's influencers or friends, that can model for you, something like that, where you're kind of using this as a way of traction. But there you go. Oh, nice. Yeah, so I feel like a little tiny, let's say like if you go into like Chanel, or you have these things that you can buy that are just like small product. So people can go, oh yeah, I bought from so and so, you know, and so therefore you can buy like a small thing. Sarah says, how will Jay, Leo, and I be in a romantic connection together? How will the dynamic be? Honestly, at the moment, you guys are kind of going to be very optimistic, very, and it might be like you guys have to then move, so you're going to be moving abroad. This is going to get a little bit harder, and you guys going to be like this is frustrating, but you guys are going to get out of your headspace and work together. So I feel like there's a lot of companionship, which is important. I think that the companionship that you both share is really good, and it will work very well because you guys are very good at communicating. But at that point of time when you're going to move over, you guys won't be so happy. But I do feel like you guys can work together, and it will be all really good. Jean says, "Will Virgo move this summer to be with me?" I don't think that he will move. Commuting, yes, but not moving. There's kind of like this feeling that he's got other things to do this year. So he's not going to be moving. Belle says, "What are my guides like?" There's one that's a little bit tetchy. I do feel like you have an animal spirit. I've been watching a like show, and there's like a little tiny salamander spirit that I'm like getting called to. So a very cute thing, very small thing, very angry all the time. Doesn't like being played with, but is fiercely protective of you. So I do feel like you've brought this guide in for you. The other one is an ancestor of yours that was a little bit. I think they could have been considered crazy when they were alive, but they do have a really good personality, and they're like always just, you know, fun to be around. They would have been a fun uncle when they're alive. Definitely male. I don't think female. Probably died young. That's what I'm feeling. But yeah. So it's weird that you have like this little. Yeah, I would say a salamander. I'm like sitting there going, I do watch, you know, and I'm just like questioning whether it's a salamander, but it's very close. Like the one thing that I would say is it's possibly a dragon, and it's getting angry with me that, you know, I'm picking up that it's a salamander. But you know, anything that I haven't seen will probably translate very close to something that I've seen in like my mind. So, you know, those are the two guides that are popping out for me. There's possibly more, but at the moment, those are the ones that I'm seeing. Good night, Anjay. Yes, I will be on tomorrow. Oh, I looked down and it's like 4 2s. 2 2. Okay. That's funny. Yeah, so list is closed. Yeah, we survived. We survived. I hope you enjoyed that, Belle. I was like, well, it's either a very cranky little dragon or, you know, a salamander. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Karen and Jean, for being amazing moderators. I will be back tomorrow. We will be doing everyone's reads, so be a free for all. You're welcome to place down your question, but do know it's going to be the same rules as a lot of times where you might only get one question answered, because we just have too many people, which is amazing. That's all amazing. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Karen. You are very welcome. Always. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.